Zskera Vaults are a promising feature that clearly has a massive and expensive potential that I've only just scratched the surface of during my limited time on the PTR, simply because I like to get a taste of things, but I don't want to spoil it for myself fully either, because I'm a player first and content creator second. Very shortly after arriving in the Forbidden Reach, you will be sent to explore what turns out to be the first of many, I assume so, ancient and abandoned treasure vaults called Zskera Vaults, and the first one you go into is called Zskera Vault Az. You talk to the nosy and a little annoying explorer NPCs at the entrance, and they give you a free handful of keys to open the doors inside of that vault. Those keys are promised to drop from creatures in the Forbidden Reach. I assume higher or maybe even guaranteed drop rates are from the rares on the Forbidden Reach, and lower chance probably is from the treasure chests and normal mobs all over the place. That's just an assumption. Main message for you in this preview is: don't waste all of your keys straight away, especially if the first quest to go into, Zskera Vault Az only tells you to do certain specific things and climb the rope to second level, if I remember correctly. Why? Because there will be an almost immediate go back to the vault quest as you follow up on your Vault Az one to pick up a few other things that will help you with your free item level 405 ring. And if you've decided to open every door imaginable in the Vault Az, you will run out of the keys, and you will run into a situation that I had on my first Paladin alt, where I simply had no keys left for the second Vault Ur. While the NPCs introduce you, through the wall of quest text to how those keys and vaults work, in my opinion, it wasn't very obvious enough that without the keys, you simply cannot even get the basic quest things, and the objectives done, unless you keep replenishing the supply of those vault keys. So I suspect that once everyone is all over the Forbidden Reach, once the patch launches and there are groups farming those rares all over the place, etc., etc., the supply of the keys won't be an issue. But at first, when you're just alone on the PTR, you would, like me, run into a sudden wall as soon as you've used up all of those free keys. Now, what is inside of those vaults, and how do those vaults feel from the perspective of a solo player who just wants a bit of excitement when they play by themselves? It remains to be seen fully, but those vaults look a bit like very, very simple solo dungeons, almost too simple, at least the first ones, where you basically walk down the stairs into one central kind of chamber or a room, and it has two floors, circular kind of room. Like the floors are one right above another, and there are a few locked doors with stuff behind them. That's it. That's basically it. The stuff behind the doors is usually some kind of elemental trap or a mob to kill, avoid, or disarm, and then a chest or some other clickable object that gives you something. At least looking at the first two vaults, that something appears to be elemental overflow and some kind of material such as dormant primordial fragments, which I assume are crafting reagent of sorts, or a currency, but that's unlikely, but nothing really tangible or immediately particularly exciting, such as, I don't know, cosmetic transmog or actually usable piece of gear at least once in a while. An exception to that statement are the death stones of item level 411, at least from what I've seen on the PTR. Purpose of those stones I have not discovered personally, and yes, I could look it up on Wowhead, but so could you right now, and I just want this to be a process of organic discovery and not to spoil myself or you prematurely, at least not fully. So those stones are giving you a certain ability if you're playing the class that the stone is for, such as Necromantic Death Stone appears to be for Death Knights. So what are those stones? Look, they look like it's kind of sort of a legendary power augmentation for your character through being either infused into your gear during crafting, or maybe it looks like it's equipable, right? So it looks like we're getting a new character equipment slot, unless these stones can be put into something like a trinket slot, which is very, very possible. If it's some new equipment slot, that would be something very major that I would have missed. So it's pure speculation at this point, Don't read into it. It's first impressions, so take this as first impressions rather than instruction guide. And we will find out soon enough anyway. Let's keep things exciting. So at least this is my initial impression. And once again, I fully suspect that the vaults will get more challenging, exciting, rewarding, hopefully with different geometry and layout of the rooms and floors, the more time you spend in them and the more keys you get to open more doors. But as a relatively bored casual, my excitement dwindled fairly quickly from the moment of opening the first door to running out of keys. By the time I've returned to the second Zskera Vault, or as I've described a little bit earlier, I personally think that Blizzard has done a very good job at giving us something new to do solo and giving us rather appealing free new eye-level loot item in that ring of 405 item level that we need then to augment with gems or whatever it is to stick into those initially empty sockets. But at the same time, I think there is insufficient hook, so to speak, and incentive to make me want to run out of that first vault and look for those vault keys because like I just can't wait to come back. I didn't get that feeling personally, and that's just honesty for honesty here. It fell a little bit flat for me. But do let me know what you think about this system, especially if you've had more time to play and spend more time in those vaults on the PTR than I did. Does it get better? And how much better does it get? And that's all I have for you in this quick check-in midweek review, my friends. Overall, patch 10.0.7 looks very promising with more stuff for us to do and explore, which is a very good thing. I'm not denying or downplaying that part. But when I first, heard on some other channel that there are these solo dungeons coming, etc., I expected kinda a lot more from these vaults than they appear to be, frankly, but that is once again just my opinion, and I very much hope that it changes to be a more positive one when the patch launches on March 21st. Please like the video if you liked it and simply would like to show your support to the channel. Subscribe for more if you haven't already, and I will talk to you next week about something else, Dragonflight or Diablo 4 related. Yes, Diablo 4 early access weekend is almost upon us and I'm very excited. Thank you very much for tuning in. Bye for now.